Hello and welcome to Santa Barbara Wargaming YouTube channel. Today we're bringing an unboxing to you of the most magnificent kind. But first, we have a cheers.
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 Strawberries.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Malt liquor is so good for you.
This is why you don't let your friend's girlfriend buy a liquor for a Halloween party.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, so tonight we are going to be unboxing Kingdom Death Monster.
It's a big box.
So this sexy beast is a 20-pound box of gaming goodness. It's designed in part by Adam Poots, who's the artist for Kingdom Death. He's a great guy. He's on Reddit and the subreddit Kingdom Death. It's actually very vocal with the community, which is great. This is July 16th pre-order. I paid $300 something after shipping. It was $60 shipping. It's ridiculous. But it was great. It got here. I'm really stoked about it. I've been already kind of looking at the rulebook a little bit because it's just, I couldn't keep my hands off it for the unboxing, but that's it. I haven't punched any tokens, unwrapped any cards or anything. So let's go straight into actually unraveling this beautiful, beautiful piece of deliciousness. So, as you can see, the box is really big. Oh God. And it's really tight. Okay. So the box came in really good condition. Beautiful artwork on it. There's a couple dings along the edge, but I mean, you know, it's shipping from China. What are you gonna do? The first thing you'll notice inside is the miniature assembly kit. This contains all of the plastic sprues. I will not be opening this because I have some that I bought on eBay from Kickstarter backers. They are selling the kits on eBay for about $35 for each armor kit. This is the Phoenix armor kit. We each bought a Phoenix, a White Lion, and a Rawhide armor kit so that we can have more options for building survivors and more replayability out of the game. So the pieces are beautiful. I'm sure after we finish the video, Mark will take some stills and we'll have them up on our blog. But it's just high quality, hard plastic. There was a couple small minor issues with like one of the swords is a little bent, but it's easy to fix. Mold lines are practically non-existent, which is just fantastic. The casting quality is amazing. This is the kind of detail you get out of like resin, but it's hard plastic. So props to them and China, because hot damn, are you guys getting your shit right. All right, so that is all contained in this box here. As you can see, it's also fairly large. Woo, it's like a Lego kit. All right, so that's the miniature assembly. Then next thing you have in the box is all of the sort of record keeping stuff. So you have the playmat, which actually shows encounter stuff. This is really cool, really high quality. It's thick. It's well printed. There's no any smudges or anything on it. They did a really good job with the quality of it. And I'm really excited about that. This is the Monster AI tracker mat that I'm going to put down right above here. This is where you actually handle all of the artificial intelligence of the monster you're fighting. The way this game works is that it's a cooperative game that's played against the board itself. So the game actually has different decks with different difficulty levels for all the different monsters that you can hunt. There's a heavy role-playing element of the game itself, with you and your friends encouraged to actually create your characters and develop backstory. And there's actually an entire subset of the game where you have to build a settlement, breed your survivors together, create new warriors, invent new weapons and armor using the materials you reap from the monsters themselves, and hopefully eventually overcome the darkness.
So it's like a very, very NC-17 version of Warhammer Quest?
The parallels to Warhammer Quest pretty much end at the fact that the monsters are not controlled by a single player, that they're controlled by actions determined by events. In this case, I feel like the game is more of the closest emulation to like a survival horror adventure video game in board game form. So
Resident Evil?
No, not that kind of survival horror. I mean more like Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Diablo 3 almost. The game is about grinding and killing monsters and going on hunts and gaining, well, you don't really have experience, you have aging, building up weapon proficiencies, and developing your characters and making them really cool. The other half of the game is about your characters getting their shit kicked in by giant monsters and you having to rethink your strategies going back into the hunt. Which is really awesome.
That's a lot of reviews that I've read said that it's very hard.
Yeah, the difficult. So each boss has 3 difficulty levels, except for the final boss, which just has 1 difficulty level. He's just really fucking hard. The whole point of the game is you can go on hunts and you can fight the same boss multiple times to try to grind up gear. The higher the difficulty, the better the materials are. The more quantity of materials you get. So next we're going to talk about the tokens. This is not a Fantasy Flight game. It does not come with 18...
Sure?
I'm sure. This is actually fairly light for a token-heavy game. So these are all of the tokens. The one thing I will say about this is that there is a little bit of mold beginning to grow on the top of the token sheet. Luckily, none of the tokens appear to have been affected by it, but that is a little disconcerting. I have seen people post where their entire boards were covered in mold.
Oh.
And this was something Adam immediately contacted his manufacturer and distributor for, because that's unacceptable for a $400 board game. But other than that, it seems to be in fairly good condition.
The art is gorgeous.
The art is fucking amazing, and these tokens are also double-sided.
Oh, lovely.
So you can see over here we have the stat tokens. These are basically temporary stat bonuses that your characters will get throughout the game, and the villains. You have insanity tokens, you have activation tokens, you have lantern tokens, and you have wound tokens. So not too token heavy of a game. Fairly simple. It's, again, not a Fantasy Flight game. Then in here you have sort of the larger tokens. I'm not actually sure what most of these are for. I do know the monster controller is sort of like an initiative token.
It's a face.
Yeah, it is a face. The monster controller card... Basically, if you are designated as the monster controller, if the monster targets you, you actually get some bonuses when fighting the monster, which is really cool. You get +1 to your insanity. So basically, it's the idea that, your character's extra brave at that point. Insanity is actually a good thing, not a bad thing. It's kind of like your bravery stat. As you can see down here, you also have a little bit more discoloring around the paint. But it only slightly creeps up on this face. Other than that, it looks fairly decent.
That might just be,
is it just
like
dust?
some manufacturing.
Okay, that's good.
Dust.
And these tokens are not double-sided, as you can see, the black on the back.
That's the classiest way that you can present tokens, is black on black.
Yeah, very, very nice. So then next we have the game board. So the game board's actually fairly simple, but it's also quite large. There was some damage to one of the corners of it. I believe that probably happened in transit because it was basically loosely packed just on top of this. Yeah, it's right here. However, it doesn't seem to actually affect the interior of the board very much because it's off on the border. So this is the board itself.
Yeah, let me move some of this stuff away.
Yeah. So this is the board itself. As you can see, it looks just fucking beautiful.
Wow.
It's just really
gorgeous.
cool. If anyone was at Gen Con, they had the game on display and they were actually running demos of the first hunt, it was really awesome. It was a really fun experience, and it actually was re-solidified why I was so happy that I pre-ordered this copy of the game, because it's just really, really cool looking. So all of your encounters are actually going to happen on this board, which is pretty cool. Lastly in here, you have all of your various game aids. As well as something that's really nice to have, and I wish more board game manufacturers would do it, and that is a tools organizer. So inside is a plastic insert where there's slots for all of your cards, there's slots for your tokens, for your rule book, for miniatures, etc.
That is such a good idea.
It's a really good idea. It almost alleviates the need for an organizer purchased by a third party. Granted, when you pay $400 for a board game, I sure as hell hope that you get an organizer in your game. The game is played using D10s and D6s. The D10s are used as sort of the way that you hit the monsters. It's your accuracy used as a D10. The D6 is actually to determine where on the monster or on the survivor the damage is inflicted. So the D6 will have the waist, the leg, the hands, the head, the torso, and just two sides of the torso. So it's a really cool, interesting system. It's very simplistic. The only real random rolls in the game are your accuracy rolls, like how it is to hit. Wounding is based off of strength. There's no additional roll. And armor just reduces the amount of strength of the opponent's attack up to whatever your armor is. And armor only lasts per hit per encounter. So if you're wearing a piece of cloth chest gear and you take a hit in the chest during an encounter, you reduce the damage by 1 for the cloth armor, and the cloth armor is no longer able to be used for the rest of that encounter.
Excellent.
Which is really cool. But it refreshes after the encounter, so you don't discard it. Inside you have your...
So it sounds like it's made for a campaign.
It is.
Be a campaign system.
It is very made for a campaign. It is 1 to 4 players. There is a 5 to 6 player variant, which I haven't gotten to yet. It's in the advanced rules section. The game can be played solo. You yourself control all 4 survivors. There's a number of people on Reddit that are doing playthroughs right now solo because they just really wanted to do that.
Sure.
Pretty cool. Yeah, so next you get a pad of character sheet info. They're very small character sheets. They're just the right amount of information. I really like how concise they are. There's no overwhelming amounts of information. You know, you get handed a D&D character sheet and it's 4 pages long. So this is...
And I like the IKRPG that's come out recently, but
same kind of
you
problem.
Have like
way
two
too many
double-sided
cross
sheets.
references and yeah.
So that's really nice to have, conciseness in your character sheet.
So the second really cool thing they did for the characters is you have your gear grid and your basic actions. So in it it shows you the survivor's actions, the survivor's act, and unarmed combat. So all the basic information you need to know for playing the game right there. The grid next to it is actually where you place out your gear. So you put your weapons and your armor and any trinkets you might have will all go on the character sheet. And they come in cards. So you actually get cards that you place on the character sheet. They're little square cards like this. So these are used to represent your gear. So it's kind of like an inventory screen for a video game character.
Wow.
Yeah. Next you have your settlement sheet. So this is actually how you keep track of how your characters and your settlement is progressing. Adding new members to the settlement. Showing the settlement's progression throughout the game, the monster hunts, nemesis monsters, such as monsters that I believe the way the nemesis system works is monsters that have defeated you, and then you can go back and hunt them again.
Oh, what a neat mechanic.
It's a very cool mechanic. So it also kind of keeps track of your game as well, the difficulty level of the game as you ramp up. Then you have the rulebook right here. So the rulebook, and underneath the rulebook, actually, there's even more storage, which
Excellent.
is great. These are for tokens and cards and all that. So the rulebook is really, really nice. It has the same emblem but colored as is on the front of the board.
Love the profile layout. The
landscape. It's almost like an art book.
It's great.
And he really takes advantage of that by actually putting an art book in it. So there's actually a small little comic.
Well, I won't spoil.
We won't spoil it. It's basically
It looks great.
It looks really cool. It's basically the story of the survivors first waking up. There's no actual words in it. It's just visual, and it's very visceral and very cool. What
are the survivors waking up from? The nothing?
It's not really clear.
Basically, Age of Sigmar. We could say there's Age of Sigmar.
Sure, why not? Let's
just
put that dumpster fire right in here. So you can see the art is beautiful.
We've come to expect from
Kingdom Death.
Yeah. I love Poops.
That's Adam Poots. So, I mean, it's just really cool looking. This is actually the art from the back of the box in smaller print. And the rulebook actually starts like a children's storybook. So you have a picture and then like a simple 3-sentence thing about, the basics of the characters starting and waking up, what they go through, and whatnot. And it's really
cannibalism or something.
Yeah, sort of. It's interesting, and I won't spoil any more of it for you, but
it looks great.
It's really cool. So the rulebook is laid out sequentially. Basically, it walks you through your first day, which is your first hunt, and it gives you a basic understanding of how the gameplay works. but it specifically says in the rulebook, please do not read ahead. Read as you play, which is
Nice.
cool.
I like that.
I like that because it gives you, you know, a little bit of a nice little preview to like get playing the game and then also continuing to learn the game as you play more encounters. So I've only read the first encounter fight, which is what you're encouraged to do, and it seems really interesting, really fun. And they make it abundantly clear how difficult this game is by stating you may die in the first fight. It's just going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, you have all of these
Wow.
cards. These are action cards.
Are you sure that this isn't a fantasy flight game?
Yeah, this is the part that's kind of fantasy flighty. So there's a lot of cards in here. You're actually not supposed to like go through and read them because there's like attacks and events and stuff like that.
Oh.
They're supposed to be a surprise. So I haven't opened them yet. I'm sure I will. The way that AI cards are laid out, they're different levels of numbers for different difficulties and all kinds of cool stuff like that. Here you have your armor sets. You have your characters, your character classes, I believe. You have your monster and event cards here. You have more character information
And first
on
days
these
on
cards.
top there. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. Barber surgeon, yay.
Yay.
So that's all placed in here, and then lastly you have your gear and whatnot all here. So this is all like gear cards. So you have like the White Lion mask, the White Lion headdress, stuff like that, which all have like armor values, special abilities.
Does it
etc.
have a cape of penises?
No, but
Oh, no dong cape?
But there are expansions that were released with the Kickstarter. I believe there was 2 massive expansions that were kickstarted as well. I'm hoping they go on sale soonish. One of them is just fucking awesome looking. He's got a giant dragon that you get to fight that looks like something out of a Guillermo del Toro Night Fever dream. It looks awesome.
Well,
I
think that you just described the Kingdom's Death
Right, yeah, the
aesthetic.
whole,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm really excited to play this game. I'm really excited to start cracking into the miniatures and actually build the first 4 survivors in the White Lion so I can start getting this game rolling. And we'll report back after we play our first game and let you all know how fun it is. Or not fun, but it better be fun. Cost an arm and a leg. So anyway, for everyone here at Santa Barbara Wargaming, thank you for watching and may you roll poorly.